29th of May this year, the administration of Prince Abiodun in Ogun State will be 3 years, and a lot of things have been achieved, and a lot of things are still going to be achieved. And today we'll be zeroing in on education, science, and technology. What has this administration achieved in the last 3 years in Ogun State? And to discuss that with us is no other than the Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology in Ogun State, Professor Abeokuta. And then we'll be talking about all this and more, especially in the education sector of Ogun State. Professor Abeokuta, you're welcome to New Dawn this morning.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good morning.
You're welcome, sir. Let us begin by looking at when this administration came on board, what you met really on ground, and what are some of those things that have been done to improve on what was met.
Well, thank you very much. Let me say that this administration, when it came on board, His Excellency Prince Abiodun MFR, you know, as part of the transitional arrangement, and you know, various committees were set up, and zeroing on education, we felt that the situation was unacceptable, going by the pedigree of Ogun State, where we stand in the Committee of States. And you know, Ogun State is the education capital of Nigeria, and you know, this is where Western education started. He felt that the situation was not acceptable to him. And that is not to say that previous administrations have not done a lot. But the point is that it's just like when we talk about Nigeria itself, we are not where we should be. And we feel that we should actually be better than where we are now. So he felt that for him to make impact, for him to put us on the right track, at least to achieve the type of glory that we should have in education, there was need to do things in an unusual manner. And that was why he declared emergency in the education sector. So declaring emergency meant that you have to do things in an unusual manner for you to fast track development in this sector. So the emergency led to a number of things, and don't forget, we focused on major areas of the curriculum, about 6 pillars: the curriculum, management of resources and human and material, you know, that's the second pillar. And then we also have technology integration into teaching and learning, that's the third pillar. And then we have funding and revenue for education. I will go into details of some of these things later. And then also we talk about infrastructure, massive infrastructure development, the fifth pillar, and the sixth pillar is the teachers and students' welfare. You know, when you talk about all this and you don't factor in the human, elements of it, you may not be able to get what you want. So that led to, in the area of infrastructure, that led to massive infrastructure development, rehabilitation of schools, and to date we have done over 960 of that in what we call the Yellow Roof Revolution in Ogun State. I mean, we are all living witnesses to it. I'm not saying that everything is sorted. We still have a long way to go. But that is to tell you what we met on ground. But with what this administration has done in the last 3 years now, no one is left in doubt that definitely, if we go at the rate we are going, Ogun State will have, very soon get to the stage where, or the state that we want it to be, and where it should be as the leader in the education development. For us, it's work in progress, something that we continue to work on what we made on ground, improve on what we have done before. And I make bold to say that with the rate at which we are going and with what we have done in 3 years, when you do it, juxtapose with what you have seen in other previous administrations, you see that this administration is actually not doing badly in that in the area of education.
Talking about one of the pillars, which is curriculum.
Yes.
What really has changed in the curriculum since you came on board?
Yes. Now, don't forget that as a nation, we have the national curriculum. No state will have its own curriculum, so we all operate the same curriculum. But what you bring into it is some innovations, things that can actually be add-ons to the curriculum. How do you make the curriculum more learner-centered? How do you make it more creativity focused, that can bring out the creativity in the learner? And then what about technology integration into the curriculum itself, into the content development, the real teaching and learning situation, teacher management of the classroom, and so on and so forth. So particularly, you see that we, apart from bringing together experts in the area of curriculum in the various subjects to sit down and look at the curriculum we have, and then cross the T's and dot the I's here and there, and then bring in some innovations into what we have. We brought in professors and the practitioners, subject associations, to help us to look into the curriculum. So we achieved that. We distributed to schools, and that's what they are using it. And then we worked on technology integration. That has to be gradual, because we have to look at the state of things. What about internet? What about power? And some other facilities, tools to be used by teachers and so on. But notwithstanding, we're not going to wait until all this will be totally, fully available. We are actually doing these things in stages. Don't forget, OGTV was a major player in the Ogundigi class, okay? When there was lockdown during the 2020 lockdown, our learners were at home, but they were also learning. Ogun State blazed the trail. We were actually the first to bring up this. And the unique thing about what we did was that we did not only focus on virtual teaching and learning. We actually complemented that with the power of communication, power of telecommunication, power of television. Because if you just make it virtual and say people should just link up, maybe to Zoom or something, how many people in the rural areas have even electricity? Not talk about internet or even tablets or phones to use, but using technology, using telecommunication, using television. There's hardly any hamlet you get to, you don't find one person or the other with television, and then maybe a small generator. I better pass my neighbor. So that made the teaching to reach every nook and cranny of the state. So such that learners were able to actually learn without necessarily having internet, and then without necessarily bothering so much about power, because the type of power requirement here is something that is readily available to them because of this type of small generators that they have when there is no power. So learning did not stop. Those are some of the initiatives we brought on board to ensure that no one was left behind, and things that should be done were not left undone, and that we improve on whatever I would call the minimum standard, the minimum curriculum that was given to us by the national, that is the national education curriculum. So in the area of curriculum, and that has led to better performance. If you look at it now, our learners are doing well. As of today now, Ogun State is the first in the entire federation. A learner from a public school, for that matter, not just private, not even private school, was the one that Azim from African Church Grammar School, Abeokuta. The boy came first overall in Nigeria in JETS competition. JETS is a junior engineer, scientist, and junior engineer, technologist, and scientist competition. Not only that, out of the 24 lawyers available, Ogun State won 18 out of the 24. So that's just to tell you that what this administration is doing, we are already having results, yes, of it. And even for the private schools that we don't, owned by individuals, we provide the enabling environment. We actually do quality assurance, quality control. We ensure that whatever is implemented is what we have actually sanctioned, since we are the one that license them and also monitor and regulate what they do. So even our learners in private schools are not doing badly. You remember ABIODUN'S that won the global mathematics competition, and we have a lot of others. So that is the effect of what we are doing, re-engineering the curriculum, introducing technology into teaching and learning. And so, well, I know as we go on, we will also talk about how we have actually used technology to power everything we are doing, even in the education sector in Ogun State. That has not happened before. It's a new initiative. We're driving everything, transfer of learners from one school to the other through technology, placement of learners into schools from primary to secondary to technology. You don't have to see anybody, you don't have to know anybody, you don't have to be physically present, and that is done through technology. We have also driven through technology admission into flagship schools. We have 42 flagship schools in Ogun State. We'll talk about that later. The learners into those schools, when they to purchase the form, the advert has been running on OGTV. You just go online and get the form. Right from the point of purchase of form to the end, everything is driven through technology. And another thing that we have done, which no other state has done, is what we call the electronic dossier, e-dossier. The dossiers are just the report sheet. The report sheets, before we used to print the booklet for learners, and now we have actually jettisoned that. Not only that, it will even save government money from printing all the time. You know, when you have bulk of these papers, you pack, put here and there, then you have issues with that. And the area where learners will be hiding their report sheets from their parents is over. Like I said at OGBC yesterday, that you know, when we were small, we say, you get to man and say, Baba mo pass, you know, so that you know that you actually passed, but you know, on your way, the goat or something at your report sheet out. That's why. But now parents can just actually go online, and they will see. They will be able to see the report. The report card of their learners, of their children. And for teachers, the workload is a bit reduced, because all they need to do is to mark and then upload the scores. The system will do all the computations, including even the type of comments here and there. And now in Ogun State, we use the technology, we use computer to mark attendance. And where teachers will not have to be taking paper here and there. You just go online, log to the OGTV platform, that's the Ogun State Education Revitalization Agenda platform. The platform is an offshoot of the agenda that we are implementing in Ogun State in education. So our teachers log on to this portal, and they are able to mark attendance, they are able to, the profile of all our learners. All learners in Ogun State today, they have what we call learner identification number. The ones in public schools. The ones in private schools now are being onboarded, because we need to have this particular platform to manage the entire education structure. So as I sit here, I can tell you everything about education in Ogun State from the platform. Even from my cell phone here, I can tell you how many learners we have in schools, in our public schools, even in private schools, because we don't, how many learners we have in schools, how many learners we have, how many female students, how many male students, how many teachers we have in primary, in secondary, in junior secondary. I can tell you even the profile. You know, give me the name of a learner, I can just tell you from here. I can open the report sheet of a learner. I can, you know, even the governor can do that from his table. So that's part of what we have brought, which we know that will, make the entire education sector in Ogun State become something. I just came back from a workshop in from Abuja, and when I mentioned what we were doing, because they were still talking about certain things, I said we have gone past this, and then now we are like going to be consultant to other states. You know, they are already calling us, you know, to say how did we do it, how did we do it. So that's part of the things we have brought into this sector.
Honorable Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology, first of all, I would like to commend you on the OGTV. It's really, really a laudable one, introduction of ICT to every strata of learning. But I want to take you up on the welfare of teachers. I am aware the state government reintroduced the issue of principals general,
yes,
headmasters general,
yes,
and I'm aware there were promotion of some teachers. Yes. What other things have you done in the past 3 years to make sure that those that are doing the teaching?
Yeah, you know, when you ask us that what we met on ground, part of what we met on ground were certain allowances and arrests not paid, promotions and so on and so forth. Everything has not been done. You know, governance is a continuum, and you inherit assets and liabilities. So in the area of promotion, teachers have just recently, people have gotten promotion, even not only teachers, even in the other parts of other yes, generally in the civil service, people have gotten they have their promotion, backlog of promotion 2016, 2017. These are periods when this administration was not in office. So and for allowances, some of the allowances owed are being paid. It's an ongoing thing. So and apart from that, we also support teachers in capacity building. You know, even the Oxera thing I talked about, we did training for our teachers. That's why it is possible for all teachers to go online and do all these things we are doing. Some of these trainings were virtual, some were physical, and then even for principals, we supported them. Some of them were even supported to travel abroad for training. Then when they have maybe training also in Abuja, you know, and then also supporting the subject associations, because all these teachers, they belong to subject associations where they actually interact with their colleagues from all over the nation, and they are able to network and so on. So when they have programs, all the subject associations, Mathematics Association of Nigeria, Science Teachers Association of Nigeria, French Teachers Association, Computer Teachers Association, and so on and so forth. So that's another avenue through. You know, when I told you about the curriculum review, they also they were also involved through this association. So all these, and then don't forget, when you rehabilitate classrooms, you are also taking care of the environment where teachers, where they work. And, I mean, when the classroom is conducive, then it means the office of the teacher is conducive. You know,
so
the staff room, yes, the staff room, and so you are taking care of teachers' welfare. You are taking care of students' welfare. When you are rehabilitating schools, rehabilitating offices, providing toilets, even in the special needs schools. If you go there now, 5 of them in Ogun State, what we are trying to do is to turn all those five special needs schools into models that other states can come and look at. Go and see what is happening. You need to see what we met when we came and what we have done after we came in. So every administration, I'm sure, will. Education is always very key to every administration, and I must say that those that came before us also, they did a lot. The point is that the state is an education capital. Yes, and so much is expected from you. So when you even do, people may say you have not done anything, because it will take a while at times for this thing to show, because it has been left for so long. But when one wants to be objective and you look at whenever an administration comes on board, you can look at the time they came in and the time they will be leaving. You'll be able to see if something has been done. Yes.
Now, tell us about the special, the flagship schools. Really, okay. Briefly, is it not an attempt to treat or to give attention to the privileged in the society? That's on one hand, and then at some point, schools, in public schools particularly in the state, were rocked with issue of hooliganism, full exuberance, and the rest of them. But thank God, your ministry and the government stepped into the situation. And in recent times, we've not heard any of such scenarios play out.
Thank you very much.
What did you do, really?
Thank you very much. On the flagship schools, it's not a situation of giving privilege to anybody, because the flagship schools are also still free. Don't forget that education is free in Ogun State. The governor, when he came on board, he actually made access to education better by cancelling all forms of fees and levies. That improved access. But we have 511 secondary schools in Ogun State, 654 primary schools, public. So, but where we want to take education in Ogun State, our schools, where we want them to be, it will be an enormous task for any administration to come in and turn around the over 2,000 schools within a space of 4 years. So to be able to do that, we decided to go in phases. Some other administrations, maybe the last one, toyed with the idea of model schools. But we feel that even if you want to have model schools, it would be better to work on the existing schools and turn them into models. And the basic idea is that we are taking those 42 schools as the pilot that will tell you where we are taking the entire schools in Ogun State. It will be the first. So if you like, you can call them Division 1, like in football. So the first division. So these 42, well spread across the state. 10 in each division, except for Yebu division that has 12. That's why it's 42 to have been 40. now, but there is a sort of history behind that. So you see, the 42 are schools with this pedigree that government is working on to make them better than what they are, and then use them as the beacon, and then the pointer to where we are going with all the other schools. So the only thing is that for the flagship schools, you don't get into those schools without indicating interest to go there. For other schools, you just place learners into the schools, irrespective of whether they did any screening. But for flagship schools, the learners will have to be screened. There will be screening test, and the screening test.
Because time is not really.
Okay, yes, I will continue.
Briefly to talk about the hooliganism and.
Well, on that, we had a lot of issues. Sometimes last year, towards the end of last year, when parents were going to schools to attack teachers, learners were fighting one another. They were hiring talks to come to school, destroying things and so on. So we came up with a number of measures. Well, we did stakeholder engagements, parents, teachers, we engaged parents, we engaged head teachers, principals, we engaged teachers, we engaged private school owners, because when students do things in public schools and probably you want to sanction them, parents can just withdraw them and take them to private schools. So we engage private school owners so that they won't allow such things to happen, and they will also cooperate with us in maintaining discipline. And don't forget, even in some states, we had situations whereby some of these things that actually happened in private schools. So we also engage them. We engage all student associations, and then we ended it up with what we call the signing of letters of undertaking to commit parents to discipline in school, and for them to work with us so that they don't sabotage whatever effort we are making, because discipline is supposed to come from home. So when parents now draw back, when you have a parent coming to school to attack, then definitely what message is it sending? So we ask them to sign undertaking on behalf of their wards. They have fixed their passport photographs, and don't forget, we have secured the cooperation of the Ministry of Justice and the security agencies. So we actually held meeting with all of them, and they have been working with us. All those ones, and then combined with the fact that we have actually banned the use of school facilities for parties and so on during the week, which was a lot of distraction for our learners. So that one, with all these other measures that we have taken together, and the fact that we also empowered the administrators for that, the principals, the head teachers, with sanctions that they can actually implement without having to come to us, because they already have the template that they can use. So all these ones are put together, helped us, and that's why we have the type of sanity. You won't find our learners roaming about the streets again in Ogun State. You see anybody in uniform at 10 o'clock, no, it won't happen again. All those things have actually, yes.
We must thank you, Honorable Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology, Professor Abeokuta, for your time with us this morning. No doubt, 30 minutes will not even be enough,
yes,
to talk about what this administration has achieved in the last 3 years. Thank you, and of course, we wish you the very best in your endeavors. We have to go, Tunde.
All right, we have to go, and thank you so much for staying with us since the past 2 hours or thereabout. It has been nice being in here with you. Dominic and I will have to leave now. On behalf of our producer, Andrew Adebayo, I want to say thank you so much for watching, and do have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.